Hello, busy dads and busy people everywhere. Is the Busy Dad program sustainable? That's the question I want to address today. On a recent thread in my video, there was a back and forth on this question, with some people saying that they'd experienced burnout in the Busy Dad program and calling into question whether this style of training can really work in the medium and the long term for people. Now, I should say that the majority of feedback that I get from people who are trying out the program are success stories. People who have been doing it for 6 months, a year, for in some cases as long as 2 years, consistently, and have seen real results. You've seen in my own case, I share my journey on this channel. I have been consistent with the program for many years. You didn't know me before, but I can assure you that consistency was a problem for me, as it is for so many people in my own training. And so I think that the Busy Dad program certainly can be sustainable, but for certain people, they're having trouble sustaining the program. And I think that part of what's creating that trouble is that I haven't been as clear as I should have been about the wide variety of ways in which you can inhabit the Busy Dad program. When you begin your burpee training practice, especially if you are coming from a pretty limited training background, okay, as your body adjusts to the movement, you are going to be surfing a wave of beginner gains. It's very, very likely that in the first 3 to 6 months of your training, you're going to see quite a few personal records stacking up. And so what I say to people is, don't go crazy, but you should go into each session chasing a PR in those early days, looking, a modest PR, looking to put 1 rep on your existing PR in every session. But what I haven't been clear enough is that that piece of advice that I give to beginners, encouraging them as they surf that wave of beginner gains to keep trying to put a rep or 2 onto their sessions, isn't necessarily the advice that I would give to anyone in the program. And I think that what is happening to a lot of people is that they're going into every workout thinking that they need to be chasing a PR. They know how hard 220 felt, and now they're supposed to be going for 221, and they bail, and then they get 206, and then they start to get demoralized because it happens time and time again, and now it's 3 weeks since they were up at 220, and now they're hovering now at around 209, and they're not feeling very good about themselves, and now they're not looking forward to their training as much, and you can get into a dark place with your training, and you can start to lose some of the joy of it, and eventually you can fall off. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. I really, really don't want that for you. Okay, I think it's tragic when people lose their training practice, and I really, really don't want that for any person watching this video. So what can we do to allay that issue? Well, look at my own case. When did I last get a PR? I haven't had one this year, my friends. Not a lifetime PR. Okay? I hit 150 this year, which was a joint PR. But aside from that, I haven't had a single PR this whole year of training. Okay? And I'm not demoralized about my training. I'm loving it. And so what that should be telling you is that chasing PRs is something that makes sense for a beginner. That's not what we do when we're deeper into the program. Not every session. Absolutely not. Does that mean we're not oriented towards improvement? No, it certainly doesn't either. Okay? But there are different ways of thinking about how we improve. One really helpful concept that comes from 2 friends of mine, Eric McCarty and Paul from Oregon, is this concept of a fitness floor. If you can go from a place where 200 is really, really hard to the point that you can fall back on 200. It's like your fitness floor. That's improvement. That's real progress on the Busy Dev program. But also, when we're setting goals for ourselves, we need to be responsive to where we are right now in our lives. We might have been ill recently. It might be a very stressful time. We might be coming back off an injury. And that is why we have this concept of a zone of peak performance, which is kind of like your 2-week moving average of where your reps are at, and that you should be programming around that. I'm not programming around where I was in May of 2022, because back then I was graduating the Busy Dev program. I was knocking out the sacred 200 with ease. If I was programming relative to that zone of peak performance, the workouts I would be programming would be unattainable, and that would be demoralizing. But if I'm programming relative to where I've been at in the last 2 weeks, okay, even if that involves eating a slice of humble pie and cutting back a number of reps that I'm programming, that's what I need to be doing. In my own case, beginning of this week, I hit 276 six counts. By my standards, that's nothing. Okay, recently I was hitting 300 week in, week out, and I barely scraped 276. So I came in on Friday looking for 280. I had an excellent result. I got 290. Didn't intend that, didn't expect that. That came completely unexpectedly, partly because I've taken some of the pressure off. Okay, so where are we at? We're at 290, but we know that 290 was kind of an aberration. We know that in that same week we hit 276, so we're not going to jump into next week and say, right, 295, road to 300. No, we're not going to do that. It's tempting, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to think, okay, somewhere between 276 and 290 is the sweet spot right now. That's what we should be programming around. So we should be setting a baseline of around about 280 and maybe pushing for 292, 293 on the outer edge. That approach to programming, going into a session with a plan A and a plan B, with a range of reps you're looking for instead of a specific number, has helped me a lot in the past. Okay. If you're going for 295 and you get to a point in the workout at minute 13 when you know you can't get it, it's very easy to just kind of give up. But if you've got a flexible zone of reps that you're going for in the workout, you can stay in the workout, you can still feel like you've had a successful workout afterwards. For some people, a kind of 80-20 approach is going to work really well. For me, I find I like to set myself a workload where I know in every session that I'm going to have to fight to complete the workout. Okay, I don't like going into a workout knowing in advance that I can do it. For me, say a number like 260 reps is something I can pretty much do in my sleep, and it's very rare that you'll see me programming that for myself. But that's just me. I like going into my sessions intimidated. I like feeling like I'm going to have to fight tooth and nail. People have commented to me before that I've trained with that I'm a bit insane. I might not be representative of how everybody likes to approach their training, and that's fine. Something that you can do is find a number that is a high enough number for you to get a sweat on, for you to get a good workout, but not a high enough number for there to be any real question about whether you could attain the workout. And program that, say 80% of the time, but then 20% of the time you go for a workout where it's in question whether you can succeed. Okay, because if the intimidation that you're feeling before a workout is bringing out the best in you, then by all means keep going, keep intimidating yourself. I'm scared pretty much every time I train. I love that feeling, and I love what it brings out of me. But if it's not bringing out the best in you, okay, some advice from this video. Go into the workout with a zone of reps, a high end and a low end, okay, where the low end is definitely attainable. The high end would be great, and try and land somewhere in that zone, rather than fixating on a single number of reps. Okay, next thing, when you're creating that zone for yourself, don't program around your all-time PR. Program around where you're at now, your current zone of peak performance. What have things been looking like for you in the last 2 weeks? That is kind of the range that you should be living within. And finally, if you want a really efficient way of removing the pressure, lifting that pressure on yourself, 80% of the time, do workouts you know you can complete. And you know you can complete not because you completed them last year, but because you completed them last week. But if you are going to do that and you want to stay on the Busy Dad program where we have to orient towards improvement to create that physiological stimulus, I need 20% of those workouts to be scary. It's a fact that if you don't want your workouts to scare you ever, I go back and forth about this with my brother, trying to persuade him to join the program, but he wants every workout to be comfortable. If you want every workout to be comfortable, you're in the wrong place. But that doesn't mean to say that every workout has to be terrifying either. You need to find what's right for you. You need to find the right balance of ambitious workouts and realistic workouts. You need to make micro adjustments continually on the Busy Dad program. You need to eat a hell of a lot of humble pie. And you also need to learn to rise to the occasion sometimes. It's a journey. It certainly is sustainable, my friends. But each of us should do the Busy Dad program in different ways. There are so many ways of inhabiting this program. If you're finding yourself getting demoralized, I need you to think creatively about ways that you can take the pressure off a little bit. And at the end of the day, you should recognize that it's a cause to rejoice. If you're able to train, if you're physically able-bodied, you're able to get up and do something with your body, that is a wonderful thing. And if you're hitting 80 minutes week in, week out, then even if you're not ascending through the ranks of the program, you should be proud of yourself and happy. You're doing a very good thing for yourself, for your family. So stay consistent. Stay consistent at all costs. And sometimes the cost of staying consistent might be that you take your eye off the level system entirely for a little while and just train. But eventually, to really be on the Busy Dad program, we need you moving through that system. And to do that, we need you orienting yourself towards improvement. But as I've tried to make clear throughout this video, there are many different ways of being oriented towards improvement, and you do not need to be terrifying yourself every workout if that's not how you roll. Alright, my friends, I hope this video has been helpful. We will speak again next week. I'm looking forward to another week in my own training practice here in South Africa, and I'll definitely be sharing that with all of you when the time comes. But I hope that this video has answered some questions, and please leave your comments and your thoughts below. Take care.